coming.
There is a storm coming!
Not time for the music yet, guys. Not fucking yet. Hey, what's up, guys? Conas Outtro. So, Inaros, our saviour king of the desert, our newest Warframe. Actually, with regards to music, Darude-Sandstorm my ass. Enter Sandman is where it's really at. Just saying, just saying. So, how good is the new frame? Where can we get him? How are his abilities? And is he now the tankiest SOB in the game? To get your hands on Inaros, you will of course first need to get the quest blueprint of Barrow Katir in a relay. This will cost you 200 ducats and 50,000 credits. So if Barrow isn't in a relay, then you will need to wait for his 2-week rotation for him to arrive in order to buy the blueprint. Now you will get all of the Warframes parts by completing each stage of the quest, so he's easy enough to get your hands on, but you will need to, I guess, save up to Nithane in order to craft them, as well as the other components as well. Now the quest itself is really good and it gives you a nice bit of lore with regards Barrow and Inaros, so even if you don't like the frame, then the quest is definitely something you should do for the lore alone, and just because it is a lot of fun. Now let's quickly look at Inaros' stats before we go over his abilities and what build I've chosen to run with him currently. He is our first Warframe to have no shield whatsoever. He's all about that health pool and his armor values. At maximum rank with a maxed out vitality, Inaros will have over 4,600 health, which is absolutely amazing. His armor is 200 by default, but with a maxed out steel fibre it jumps up to 420 blazing armor. Also, with his Scarab armor fully charged, his armor will jump up to 620 because Scarab armor gives you a 100% bonus of his default value of 200, so it adds another 200 on top of that 420. Now I'm still not sure if power strength increases the Scarab armor's value as well. It might or it might not. If it does, then he's even more of a tank than I originally thought. And the frame himself comes with 2 passives. His first is a unique down state or coffin state, which allows him to leech health or siphon health off enemies in order to revive himself. Now this might seem like it's an incredible ability, which it is really good on low level missions, but honestly against higher level enemies this passive just straight up sucks. You won't revive yourself, you will still die. Now his second passive is absolutely amazing. Inaros has his own personal life strike built into the frame. Basically he gets healed by kills from finishers. So kill an enemy with a finisher and return somewhere between, I guess, 600 to 1000 health each time, which is really easy to do when you have a look at his first ability. It's finishers all day long. Now Inaros comes with 2 D polarities, a dash aura slot and a dash Exilus slot. Now he's the first Warframe to have a polarity on the Exilus slot, and quite frankly it's a pain in the ass. Well, it was for me, so I had to Forma it out straight away. Now with regards to his abilities, I want to just give a simple explanation to each of them because a lot of players seem to be a little bit confused by how Inaros works. So his first ability is called Desiccation. It's basically a blind that deals tiny amounts of damage and heals you for a tiny amount as well. However, this ability, like I said, opens enemies up to finishers, and like I said, his passive heals you for finisher kills, so for me this is the ability that I use the most. It's got a really good range on it, so I only use the ultimate when things get really hectic, and if you bring a dagger with covert lethality, then this ability will allow you to just steamroll endless missions with no real problem whatsoever because you're healing yourself over and over with each kill. The ability itself is affected by range, duration and efficiency mods, and you can quite literally just spam this ability and do finishers all mission long. His second ability is called Devour, where Inaros will drag an enemy towards him and allow him to devour that enemy and heal himself in the process. You can also just cast Devour on the enemy and allow a teammate to get healed off it instead, and as good as the heal is, and it is absolutely amazing, for me the kicker of this ability is the fact that while you're devouring someone, you are completely invulnerable to all incoming damage. So if you find yourself surrounded and think you might possibly die or go down or go into your coffin state, simply start devouring an enemy until you're back up at maximum health and you take no damage whatsoever in the process, then just cheese your way out of there as fast as possible. Killing an enemy with Devour will also give you a sand minion to fight beside you, and Devour is affected by strength, duration and range. Now the minions don't exactly survive for long durations and they die quite fast. I think the higher level an enemy is, the longer they will stay active, but they don't deal a whole lot of damage, and the AI on these kind of minions is kind of retarded anyway, so for me the minions are just a kind of distraction for enemies. Now his next ability is called... Wait, what's the name of the ability again? Oh, it's a... What is it? Oh yeah, that's it. Sandstorm.
There's a storm coming.
Inaros becomes a Sandstorm Whirlwind which will ragdoll enemies, deals decent amounts of damage and is a channel ability as well. So it drains energy while it's active, and for me it's a good crowd control for giving you some breathing room against large groups of enemies, but you still take damage inside the Sandstorm, so you can still die. But if you've got Rage active, you could probably stay in Sandstorm for a very long time, because with Rage active your energy is constantly climbing back up because you're taking damage, so you only really need to jump out of that to heal yourself back up. Now, which leaves us with his ultimate ability, and the one that I want to talk a little bit more about, which is his Scarab Swarm. Scarab Swarm, when channeled, which is basically just holding down the ability button, will drain your health and convert it into armor until you hit 100% Scarab armor. This armor stays active all mission long unless you release portions of it by recasting it on an enemy. Recasting it will release about 25% of your Scarab armor each time, and releasing some of your Scarab armor on enemies will trap them in place inside a Scarab Swarm, which will deal damage to them and heal you in the process, and it will also make them dance for you in this funky kind of dance. Now, any enemy that gets close enough to a trapped enemy or an enemy inside Scarab Swarm will also become trapped. The range for the trap is a flat 5 meters. It doesn't get extended with range mods, so enemies need to step inside that 5 meters in order to get trapped as well. But more importantly, the damage dealt to enemies, like I said, will return health to Inaros and your whole squad. So power strength plays a massive part in how large your heal is and how effective this ability is. Originally on our stream we tried out a negative power strength build, and at first it seemed like a really great idea when we tested it in, I guess, low level missions, but after going up against high level enemies it became clear that a negative power strength build like, say, a SAR and Spore build was actually a terrible idea. The heals were far too low for the amount of incoming damage that we were taking, and since range only affects the distance in which you gain the heal from and not the size of the actual crowd control, it just really didn't seem worth going for a maximum range. Like I said, power strength is where it's at with this ability because you get more of a heal with the higher power strength that you have. So in regards building your Inaros, that power strength and more of a balanced range and duration gives you much more of a heal and allows you to tank a lot more damage while clearing rooms. And since range doesn't affect the actual crowd control and only affects how far away the heals can be received, then it's not much good if the heal is only in tiny amounts. So if you've got a negative power strength and you're only taking tiny heals back but you're taking a lot of damage, then for me it's just not worth it. So with that being said, how did I eventually mod my Inaros? Now, after testing the max range build on and off the stream, I realised, like I said, it wasn't for me, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be for you guys. It might suit your playstyle perfectly. I realised that I wanted to go for more of a balanced build, so I stuck 5 Forma on my Inaros. I added 2 dash polarities, 2 V polarities, and I removed that damn X-less dash polarity as well. I took this build on a 70-minute Tower 4 survival and it was still kicking ass. The only issue we had in that survival was those new Shock Xmas, which kept draining our bloody energy. These things, I'm convinced, are the fucking devil. Who decided to add these into the game? I also ran an hour-long solo Agaria on Ceres to see how effective this build was with the finisher passive and the desiccation, I guess, opening them up to finishers, and it is absolutely amazing. Now remember, like I say in most of my videos, this is my own personal build and it's only really a guideline. Use whichever mods you have to suit your own playstyle. Build Inaros however you want to build them, because after all, he's your frame. Normal mods instead of prime mods are still great for this setup if you don't have those prime mods, but you guys can let me know how you have decided to mod your Inaros and what you thought of the quest and all of the stuff that we got in update 18.5. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks for watching. Oh, and the music, I better not forget about the damn music.
There's a storm coming.
Nope.